I just wanted to make this video to point out the inconsistencies that Trinitarians have in their argumentation. And it's kind of like Jesus said, you build the sepulchres of the prophets, but you are the ones who killed the prophets. And, they claim to love and follow Paul. And it was Paul who said in Galatians that the promise was to his seed, not seeds, plural, but seed, singular. That was Paul's argument. And that's the same argument Unitarians have been making. That, like Jesus said, have you not read in the beginning how he made them male and female? Not how we, not how they. It's a singular, personal pronoun. Like in the Old Testament, Isaiah says, I am God alone. Besides me, there is no other God. I know of not any. Jesus says in John 20:17, I go unto my Father and your Father, my God and your God. So Jesus knows of a God who is not himself. It's his Father. He knows of a God. Revelations 3:9, or I think it's Revelations 3:12, excuse me. Revelations 3:12, he says, this is after he ascended, he's at the right hand of God. He says, whoever overcomes, I will make him a pillar in the temple of my God, and I will write on him the name of my God. My God, my God, why have you forsaken me? Jesus knows of a God, but God doesn't know of any other God but himself. Jesus knows of a God who is not himself. And so some of them will go to Genesis, where he says it's Elohim, and they'll say, this is a plural. Okay, if you want to translate it plural, then say gods. Gods, admit you worship gods, plural. I mean, that's the logical conclusion. If you want to say that Genesis, when he says, let us make man in our image, and is Elohim, because Elohim is plural, you're saying gods. Gods. That's what plural is. You add an S on the end of it. So Trinitarians admit you have gods who you worship. You worship gods, plural. If you want to say it's plural. Now, Unitarians, they're consistent. They say this is not to understand that God is plural. It's to understand this is a plural of majesty, they would say. It's kind of like a king who says, let us sign a peace treaty with this other person to get his nations or his subjects to approve, show their approval, so that they can say yes. And he's like, cool, they like the idea, I do too. I just wanted to see their excitement and happiness with this idea. I knew they was going to like it anyways. But he alone, after he said, let us sign a peace treaty, and they all, yeah, he goes and alone signs it. As the very next verse in Genesis says, male and female made he, not they, made he them. So one person did it. That's why Jesus said he made them. He didn't say I, he didn't say we, he. And there's singular, personal pronouns. Singular, not plural, singular. Always used for God. So anyways. In the place where you do see some kind of plurality, the Unitarians are consistent, because Trinitarians say we only worship one God, but then they want to say Elohim here in Genesis. This is actually plural, which is adding an S. That's adding an S. Gods. Gods. You worship gods, but we don't worship gods. We only worship one God. Because I and my Father are one. And I pray that they may all be one in us, Father, even as we are one, that all my disciples, that we may all be one. I and you and me, we're all one. Jesus says, even as, that means in the same way, even as I and my Father are one, I pray that you may all be one in us. That they may all be one in us, Father. That they may be one even as we are one. That they may all be one in us, Father. What? One with Christ and the Father? One with the Father, even as? The saints are all one, even as He and the Father are one. They are in Christ and the Father, even as. And I'm sure there's other Unitarians that could point out to you multiple verses where it says seed, not seeds. Okay, it says He, not they, made them male and female. Yes, it says let us make. Okay, he's speaking to the sons of God. That's my view, and why? Because in Job it says that the sons of God rejoiced when He laid the foundations of the earth. Well, man was made after the foundations of the earth were laid, because if there was no earth, the man would not. Where's he going to live? Okay, the angels rejoiced. The sons of God rejoiced. Well, if you're a son of God, what does that mean? Every son, if we're speaking in metaphors or terms or analogies, every son is an image of his father. He's not his father. He is not his father, but he is an image of his father. He has a likeness. Sons of God have a likeness, something similar. Not one for one the same, not exactly, not exactness, but it's something, a likeness. And to the sons of God who were there when He laid the foundations of the earth, He says, the Elohim, the divine council, let us make man in our image. And He, the king, goes and signs it himself. He does the work himself. Male and female made He them, not they them. And so, see, they praise Paul and they accept his argument singular, not plural, okay? But when it comes to singular personal pronouns, I am God alone, there is none else. I stretched out the heavens alone by myself, no partners. God doesn't have any partners. There wasn't not some second His word, another person did it too. You know, Malachi 2:10, do we not all have one Father? Has not one God created all of us? Who is that God that created all of us? Jesus? Jesus said, call no man on earth Father. Don't call Jesus Father, because He was a man on earth. You have one Father, even your Father which is in heaven. And I go unto my God and your God, my Father and your Father. Do we not all have one Father? Has not one God created all of us? Jesus has a Father. He's my Father and His Father. Do we not all have one Father? Has not one God created all of us? Jesus has a Creator. Male and female made He them. And Jesus is the son of Adam through his mother. But made like Adam in that it was a miracle through God being his cause. That's why Adam is called in Jesus' genealogy Adam, the Son of God. Jesus, Luke 1:35, is also called the Son of God for the same reason that He had no earthly cause, no father that could be given to Him. So in the same, like unto Adam, Jesus is the Son of God, like Adam is the Son of God. Not ontological, begotten without beginning, that the Bible never said anywhere. Begotten without beginning. He says, this day didn't exist until God called the day. He called the night night. This day I have begotten you, and I will be to him a father, and he shall be, not he always was without beginning, But I will be to him a father. He shall be to me a son. And when that time came, he says, this day I have begotten you. It was on a certain day. If the vocabulary didn't even exist until God called the day day, he called the night night. So this day took place when day existed, not before there was day, and God never called it that, and it wasn't even a word yet because God didn't make it yet. Without beginning, begotten, past tense word that happened without a beginning. It already passed without a beginning. Square circle. I'm going to tell you this poem my uncle used to tell me. I'll end the video. It relates to the square circle. But one dark day in the middle of the night, two dead boys came out to fight. Back to back, they faced each other, pulled out their swords, and shot each other. The deaf policeman heard the shot and came to kill the two dead boys. If you don't believe my lies are true, ask the blind man. He saw it too. When I was a kid, I laughed, and I knew it was ridiculous because it was all contradictory. For the same reason, when someone tells you Jesus was begotten, past tense, without beginning, laugh it off. It's okay. Don't let your indoctrination, what you've been told since, all your teachers have told you, and they're like, ooh, this is super spiritual. This is super spiritual. These paradoxes, the uncaused, independent was dependent upon his God, and he could do nothing of himself. So the works that he did, he was caused to do by his God, who led him and caused him to do those things that he could not do of himself. The unbegotten God, there's only one, right? I mean, to be God, you have to be unbegotten because you don't have a father. No one caused you. The unbegotten God became begotten, but not all of him, although fully him, because the one God is unbegotten and begotten at the same time, because he's two different persons. Actually, he's three. He's three persons. He's begotten and not begotten, and he proceeds from and doesn't proceed from at the same time in his different personhoods. And he's a man and not a man, and he's immortal and will never die, though he died and was subject to mortality. And he knows the end from the beginning, but he doesn't know the day and hour. And he is the Most High, but he's a man under authority, as the centurion recognized. He is above all, though he is under the headship of his God. And he is God alone and doesn't know of any other God. And this is the true God if you can believe it. I don't believe it.